Imagine this. You close your eyes for the last time, your heartbeat slows, and everything fades to black. What happens next? Do you wake up in a new realm, meet a divine presence, or simply cease to exist? For thousands of years, humans have asked this question. What happens after we die? Every culture, every religion, and even modern science has tried to answer it in different ways. The afterlife is one of the most powerful ideas ever created, shaping how we live, what we fear, and what we hope for. But is it real? Or is it just a comforting story we tell ourselves? Religions across the world have developed their own versions of the afterlife. In Christianity, it's believed that after death, the soul is judged. The righteous enter heaven, a paradise where suffering ends and eternal joy begins. The sinful are condemned to hell, a place of eternal punishment. Some Christian traditions also include purgatory, a temporary state where souls are purified before entering heaven. In Islam, the afterlife is seen as the ultimate test. Life on earth is temporary, a trial for the soul. After death, a person's deeds are weighed, and their fate is decided. Those who followed God's path enter Jannah, a garden of eternal peace and happiness. Those who strayed face Jahannam, a place of suffering. But unlike the Christian idea of eternal damnation, some interpretations of Islamic belief suggest that sinners can eventually be forgiven and enter paradise. Hinduism offers a different perspective. Instead of a single judgment, life is a cycle. Death is not the end, but a transition. Based on karma, the sum of one's actions, a soul is reborn into a new body. This cycle, called samsara, continues until a person reaches enlightenment or moksha, breaking free from the cycle of rebirth and merging with ultimate reality. Buddhism shares a similar belief in rebirth but focuses more on personal enlightenment. There's no eternal heaven or hell in the traditional sense. Instead, a person's actions shape their future lives. Good deeds lead to better rebirths, while bad deeds bring suffering. The ultimate goal is nirvana, a state beyond suffering, beyond rebirth, where the self dissolves into peace. Judaism has a less defined concept of the afterlife. Some Jewish traditions speak of olam haba, the world to come, where the righteous are rewarded. Others believe in resurrection at the end of time, when God will restore justice. But Judaism places more emphasis on how one lives in the present rather than what happens after death. Ancient religions had their own versions too. The Egyptians believed in a journey to the afterlife, where the soul's heart was weighed against a feather. If it was lighter than the feather, the soul was granted eternal life. If not, it was devoured by a monstrous creature. The Vikings envisioned Valhalla, a grand hall where warriors who died in battle feast forever, while those who didn't die honorably went to hell, a cold and dreary underworld. But what about science? Can it tell us anything about what happens after death? From a purely biological standpoint, death is the shutdown of the body and brain. There is no measurable evidence of consciousness continuing after death. However, some scientists study near-death experiences, reports of people seeing a bright light, feeling peace, or even watching themselves from above. While some believe these experiences hint at an afterlife, others explain them as brain activity reacting to trauma or lack of oxygen. Neuroscience suggests that our sense of self is tied to brain activity. When the brain stops, so does consciousness. But quantum physics has introduced strange possibilities. Some theories suggest that consciousness may not be tied strictly to the brain, leading to speculation about what happens when we die. These ideas remain highly debated and unproven. Regardless of what's real, belief in an afterlife has a massive effect on human behavior. It shapes how we live, what we value, and even how societies function. Those who believe in divine reward or punishment may be more motivated to follow moral codes, avoid wrongdoing, or seek spiritual growth. It can bring comfort, making death feel less frightening. At the same time, it can also be used as a tool by leaders, institutions, or traditions to influence behavior, control societies, or give people a sense of purpose. But what if there's nothing after death? Would life lose meaning, or would it make every moment more precious? If there's no ultimate judgment, does morality change, or do we create our own sense of right and wrong? These are questions humanity has asked for centuries, and the truth is, we may never have a definitive answer. The afterlife remains one of the greatest mysteries, one that continues to shape our world, our beliefs, and the way we live our lives. So, what do you think? Is there life after death? Or is it just the final chapter of our existence?